May we please come inside? We want to get started on our afternoon session. We are running out of time. We need to do dinner. We need to network. Our next session is a panel discussion, and this is on empowering the next generation of cybersecurity professionals, which will be led by Kate Moore. Kate Moore is the Deputy Director of ICT in the Department of Human Resources Management and Development in the Malawi government. She has held various senior positions, and she's got vast experience in IT as well as cybersecurity. So now I'll leave the floor to Kate Moore, who will in turn introduce her panelists. Kate Moore, the floor is yours.
Hello. Good afternoon, women and girls in cyber. And good afternoon to the men who are supporting us. All right, so I welcome you all to this afternoon session. My role this afternoon is to moderate the panel discussion. And before I do that, I've already been introduced. I'm working with Malawi government. I've been working with Malawi government for the past 17 years. That is one more reason why we have to inspire the next generation. So I know we've been talking about cyber, and mostly we are talking about cyber security, but as a representative from Malawi government, I would also want to talk as an introduction, just to talk about the logo that you see in front there. That's the government logo in relation to cyber, and why government of Malawi is interested in this women and girls in cyber. So Malawi as a country, Malawi as government, it has put in a number of projects across the nation. Those projects are relating to cyber. As we all know, cyber is to do with information technologies, is to do with networking, it's to do with internet, it's to do with systems, and everything that will land on those infrastructure. So as government, there are projects that they've put in place, and there's a lot of money that government has invested in cyber. As a result, it's also interested in how those things are going to be used and how they're going to be protected. And it's also interested that whatever projects that the government has put in place, people should be able to use them, and as they are using those things, they should be confident that they are safe. So government is also a very core interested party in the cyber issues. Just in brief, I would like to let you know that government has laid fiber in all 28 districts in Malawi. How many of you are aware of that? We have fiber across the country in all 28 districts. For the people who are in Lilongwe and in some of the main cities, we have fiber, even that has been laid, that is passing outside our homes. What does that mean? That means that there are systems that are going to be run in different organizations, but at the same time, we should know that where technology is going, the emerging technologies that we are anticipating, there are even technologies or systems that have to be run in our homes. Therefore, the issue of security is for each and every one of us. This afternoon, we have 3 participants who are going to share with us a little bit about their professionals as cybersecurity and how we can inspire the next generation. So as we are inspiring this generation, we want the inspired generation to take care of everything cyber that the government, the private sector, macro, even the non-government organizations, everything that is being laid out there that is cyber, we want this next generation to be able to protect it. So the role of these women that are coming in front here is to inspire the next generation. So with these few remarks, let me invite the panelists. I'll firstly invite Lusungu Samueli. So Lusungu Samueli, she is a certified cybersecurity specialist, and she's working as a cybersecurity manager at Centenary Bank. We are aware of the Centenary Bank here. So the security of Centenary, the manager of that cybersecurity, is the one who will be sharing us with her experiences with us this afternoon. And the second panelist is Jacqueline Boutia. Jacqueline Boutia is a senior cloud security engineer at CyberCrowd Africa. And she's also a graduate in mathematics and computer science. We're supposed to be joined by a representative from Airtel. Do we have the representative from Airtel? All right, so it seems like we only have our two panelists, so we will start with the two. So, I mean, we all share our experiences. I've only announced their positions and their qualifications. So firstly, I think I'll start with Lusungu. Can you just tell us more about yourself before we go into the other questions? Over to you, Lusungu.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lusungu Samwili. I work with Centenary Bank as a cybersecurity manager. I've worked with Centenary Bank for 3 years. Before I joined Centenary Bank, I worked as an IT auditor with PwC for 5 years. But I did my bachelor's degree at Polytechnic as Bachelor's of Science in Information Systems. In 2019, I certified as an Information Systems Auditor, CISA. In 2019, after joining Centenary Bank, I qualified as a certified ethical hacker, so I'm a hacker. In the same year, I also certified as a certified hacking forensics investigator. So in addition to the degree in BIS, I am CISA, I'm CH, and I'm a CHFI. Thank you.
All right, can we now hear more about Jacqueline?
Hi everyone, how are you doing? I feel like she has a tough act to follow, so many labels to the name. My name is Jacqueline Mbuthia. I'm a senior cloud security engineer at CyberCrowd Africa. I have a BSc. I've always been a tech person. I loved the tech. Because I used to think I'm an introvert and I didn't want to be speaking to people, look at me now. So I started off, after high school, I joined a programming school. Then I did my undergraduate in mathematics and computer science. I loved it. At the same time, I used to work as a software developer. So I used to at least explore the world of software. But I kept telling my friends, this is not where I will be for long. I don't like it that much for me to be doing it 10 years to come. But for now, I like it. So looking into the future and where life was going, technology and all that, I decided to reinvent myself and hopped to the cybersecurity space. And I chose cloud security because it makes me happy. And I was looking to transfer the already skills that I had in being a software developer to something else where I'd just build on it instead of starting from scratch again, which was my way of transitioning. So I became a cloud security engineer. That's what I do. I have evolved to now do multi-cloud security. Ideally, I get to work with clients who have AWS, Azure, and GCP environments, and Oracle, but I don't really like Oracle. It's just Oracle. So I work in a multi-cloud security role. That's what I do. Anything else interesting? Yes. I love what I do. I'm very passionate about things cloud security. I get to train about it on the side. When it comes to certifications, I've just done my cloud-specific certifications because I'm very focused on, that's where I am right now. I want to just get cloud security certifications based on how the trajectory of my career is going. And before I get to the level that she's been, to talk about so many certifications under my belt. And yes, that's what I do.
Thank you. And we've been joined by Ellen Kubalo, representing Airtel. Ellen, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Ellen Kubalo. I have a bachelor's degree in information science. I'm also currently a student at University of Malawi studying Master of Science in Informatics. I'm working for Airtel Malawi as chain and provisioning lead. Thank you.
I'm already getting excited to learn from the ladies that are in front of us. So the first question, I think it will go to Ellen, because you're already holding the mic. How do you understand the current cyberspace, and how does it link to the next generation?
Well, I must say the transition to where we are now, it has been great, because there have been a lot of openings and opportunities in the cyberspace. When we're talking about cyberspace, of course, we might look into IT, and we've seen the advancements so far in different areas like agriculture, health, in education. We've seen people studying online, and we've seen different technologies happening, like in terms of weather forecast. Like currently, we've seen in September, we've heard in September, we'll hear the rainfall forecast for this year, which is all happening because of technology. So I must say, at the pace which we are proceeding and looking into the future, we should anticipate to have much more great things happening because of IT. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. Can we now go to Lusungu? Can you share with the next generation, like what are some of the common challenges women face in the cybersecurity field and how they can overcome them?
Okay. The first one, I would say, in cybersecurity, especially here in Malawi, we do not have role models. So that's one of the challenges. Like as I was starting my career in this field, lucky enough, we had people like Exile Njoka. Thank you, Exile. He is my role model. Maybe he doesn't know that. And the other guys who have been in the field for years. So we do not, yeah, we can give him a hand of applause. So, role models in cybersecurity, that's one of the challenges as in girls. I don't think we are many here in Malawi. So I would advise the young girls here who are aspiring to join our field to utilize the people who are already in this thing. Say you identify one, like say Kate over there, get hold of her, ask her for advice. Exile and his team has really helped me even in my line of work. I go with them, I ask them question, Exile, how do I do this? What does this mean? He never turned down my stupid questions. I mean, he was always there, he was always available. So, Osajita Manyas, don't be afraid. Let's use the people who are already there. Another challenge in this field is skills and knowledge gap. So on this one, what I used to do is Google has really helped me. Google has really helped me in so many ways. As in, I cannot go a day myself without utilizing Google. Like there are platforms in Google, like since I was new in this field, remember I'm coming from audit, and then I've joined Centenary Bank as a cybersecurity manager, and I need to protect the bank. So I had to use the skills learned from Google. I would use their platforms like Try Hack Me, there's Hack the Box. These platforms, they help you, like for example, learn how to hack from zero to a hero. So a solution to this knowledge gap is by continuous learning, utilizing Google and all the resources that are there online. Thank you.
Thank you. The next generation, I hope we are taking notes. The lessons that are being shared here, the lessons from the practical work experience. So let's be taking notes. Over to you, Jacqueline. What strategies have you found most effective in advancing your career in cybersecurity as a woman?
The first one is always have an ally in your circle. That's a man who's always rooting for you, be it a mentor, be it your boss. There's always a man in your team. Having an ally in your team always helps you to survive as a woman, because you might be really good, but sometimes you need someone to speak up for you. So an elder person, a man, a woman, is very important. 2 is having an idea of what do you want to be and what is required of you. Don't just move blindly, and don't just say, I want to be a cybersecurity specialist. What exactly do you want to do? Be able to have a strategy that you're able to follow, and it guides your journey. So when you even get stuck, you know, this is the point where I'm at in my journey and I'm stuck. When by the time you're going to someone for help, they're able to help you feel, I want to say unstuck, it's not the right word, but let's use unstuck, because they're able to identify that you've done this stride so far, this is what is your problem now, and how do you move on from it. 3, it's enjoy the process of becoming. It's not easy, but finding joy in the process of you doing things as compared to the end goal. The end goal is always really nice, but this process in between is what shapes you. So going through all seasons and literally allowing yourself to feel everything that comes with it, the frustration, the joy, the confusion, everything. Feel everything for you to, by the time you're reaching your end goal, it's going to be a very wholesome joy because you've experienced it all. So strategy, having a plan, and looking to the future, and also exposure. Please expose yourself, interact with people from different spaces, online connect. Your LinkedIn should not just be for your country. Connect with people in other countries, see what they're doing. Because one thing I have gotten to learn is, I used to be exposed so much. When I decided to move to cybersecurity, I changed my Twitter and started following more people in the cybersecurity space. That was 2 things for me. I wanted to passively learn cybersecurity. I was just scrolling on Twitter and there's banter. There's going to be a post that is a bit technical. You'll take time, it's like 3 minutes, read it through, continue scrolling. So being able to switch up my Twitter, my LinkedIn, to start having people in the profession I want to be in really helped me in my career. And even right now, I'm in a space, but I know people who've gone ahead of me and they've done great things. So you follow such people, see what they're doing beyond the borders of home, what are people doing out there, and you can come back home and implement them, and that will put you at the forefront, because people will be like, oh my God, she's doing something interesting. She's doing something extra from what we're used to. So exposure is very nice.
Exposure is very nice. Okay, I have a question now to the audience, and each one of us will have to take it on our own. In a day, when you are spending your time on the internet, where are you spending most of the time? From the presenters here, I think from Lusungu, she says that's where the greatest help, according to her work, that's where she's found a lot of help from the internet, from Google. And from Jacqueline, she's shared that she's able to follow people who inspire her dream. So it's a question to us, what are we spending the internet for? And that you should be able to answer it. You can use the internet to advance your career. The bundle that you buy every day, it doesn't matter at whatever age you are, whether you've just finished your Form 4, whether you're in college, or you're on holiday, or just staying. What are you using that bundle for? Others, they're using it to build their career. So I'll go to the second set of questions. The part that I want to focus on now is on the education and training. We have people of different levels in this audience. Some, they are still in secondary school, some they've finished, some are in college, they're doing different courses. I'll ask Ms. Kubalo, what specific skills or certifications do you recommend for women looking to enter into advance in cybersecurity?
Okay, to take that question, I'll borrow from Mr. Njoka's, I think in the morning he mentioned that you need to start where you are. Of course, you're starting from zero, but it's not necessarily a zero, because the cyberspace applies in almost every field. So with the qualification which you have, for those who are in secondary schools, first thing, work hard. Because to obtain yourself a space in a university, public universities per se, it's not easy these days. So make sure you have good grades in sciences, And you find it easy to excel if you sharpen your skills towards sciences. And when you're in college, and say you have an agriculture degree, don't relent. You can start from there. This cyberspace also applies in the agriculture sector or any other sector, health sector, everything. So start where you are, and let's use the resources which you've been given today. There were sites which were beamed by Mr. Njoka in the morning. I hope everyone took note of that. I also did myself because there's something I want to do over there. So please, let's visit the sites, and let's get help whenever we need it. Don't be shy to ask. I was one of the people who took Mr. Njoka's contacts last year, but I didn't even contact him. Quite a shame, yeah? But there's a reason to that. Of course, a bit personal, but still, I have to be hanged for that. So this time around, I told myself, let me take note of the resources, and I'll make sure that I access those. So this message goes to everyone as well here. I know there are different generations here, but if you want to master into the cyberspace, we can start where we are. And let's sharpen our best skills, because the competition is really high these days. For us to move from the 20 to 25% of the statistics which Jacqueline presented in the morning, we'll need to push more, ladies. It's not easy. But to answer your question, let's start where we are. Let's start from the basics. The resources we've been given, please let's utilize them. Thank you.
Can I add another perspective to that?
Sure.
So this is how I'd also advise you. Cybersecurity is very huge, and it's broad, and it's beyond ethical hacking. So there's what we call foundational learning in cybersecurity. I feel like everyone here will agree. There are skills that are crucial in cybersecurity. Beyond the knowledge of understanding, this is cybersecurity, this is the cybersecurity threat landscape, these are threats, actors, and all that. Once you decide, I want to be in cybersecurity, research should be your first thing to do. Sit and understand what careers are there in cybersecurity. There's a technical side, the non-technical side. It's like a tree diagram. It goes becoming bigger. When it comes to the technical side, there's so many careers beyond ethical hacking. One of the reasons why I kept saying I feel like we'd also have less people in the cybersecurity space is because people go into the field thinking of being ethical hackers. Just like if today you ask someone, what do you want to be in cybersecurity? 90% of the response you're going to get is, I want to be an ethical hacker, right? But there's so much more to cybersecurity beyond ethical hacking. Sit and research what careers are there in the technical space, and now identify where do you think you want to be. If you pick, so let's say something like incident response or cloud security, pick that particular career, go identify what skills are required there. Easiest way to be able to do this is camp on LinkedIn. Go to the LinkedIn job description side, search the job you want for, like let's say cloud security engineer, right? Do a benchmark of like 5 job postings. What skills are you seeing are common across all of them, right? This will influence and guide your learning to ensure that you'll be having like a checklist you're ticking, that I now know cybersecurity, I can explain what cybersecurity is. I have decided I want to be in cloud security. This is what my job, my employer will ask me to know. So you're able to even guide your learning and ensure that you've captured things right. Even when it comes to certifications, there are general certifications and there are path-specific certifications, which speak more power when you're going to apply for a job and you say, I'm in incident response, or I'm in digital forensics, and you show a certificate that is actually catered to digital forensics. You can have the general ones. I'm not opposed to them. I'm just saying that a path-specific certification that shows that you're in this path, you're certified in this, speaks more volume to you and usually helps you get your footing and it speaks more to your profile. You might be in digital forensics, but you have a CEH, Certified Ethical Hacker certification, yet you won't be doing much of ethical hacking as compared to digital forensics. I don't know if you're getting the point I'm trying to make. Like, do a certification that is catered to your path, not forgetting that they're very expensive. So that's something to keep in mind. Yes.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Lusungu, would you want to add something to that?
Yes, please. Thank you, Jack. Thank you. Cybersecurity. Okay. Cybersecurity is a big field. So For somebody who is just starting, it's important to first of all understand the field. For example, there is network security, there is application security, there is endpoint security. Understand these basic things first. For example, if you want to start accounting career, you need to understand the definition of accounting. Yeah. So it's the same thing with cybersecurity. Understand the field. After obtaining and understanding the field, then you can now go ahead and do the basics, fundamentals, like there's this book, it says cyber security fundamentals. It's easy to understand and you easily catch the concept of what cyber security is all about. From there now you can move on to certifications, CompTIA. There's this certification CompTIA which is, it has basic fundamentals of security as well. And then you can now be upgrading to CEH and the other certification and the degree programs. For the degree programs, you can now choose computer science, BIS, and the other IT-related degree programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Lusungo. We need to understand what cyber is. So, I'll help you a little bit. In government, what cyber is. If you have your national ID, you have your passport, if you have your driving license, if you have your birth certificate, all those things are outputs from the government systems. It means all those systems are keeping your information, and that information needs to be protected. So that forms the part of the government cyber infrastructure. We have academia in the group, so I would want our panelists just to share their insights on what the academia can do to better support and prepare women for careers in cybersecurity in Malawi. I'll start with Ms. Kubwalo. What should the academia do to support cybersecurity in Malawi? Thank you.
Thanks so much. To begin with, I've already seen some advancements so far in most colleges. Most programs are offering introduction to ICT as one of the courses, to compulsory courses in the first year, which is a good start. But then it ends there. As you proceed, you're taking the direction of the program which you've chosen. So basically, the introduction to ICT is just to equip the students with the ICT skills, how to use a computer. They might want it when typing their assignments, when searching for information, but there's more which has to be done. Like the conference which Makla has organized today, I would appreciate if this is also done by the academia. Each institution, if they can hold similar conferences at institution level, it would be great, because like it is here, there are a lot of people who would have wished to join, but perhaps Makla had a limit. So if this is done at an institution level, that would be great. And if the same is implemented in the education structure, say starting from the early stages, say in primary schools, that would be great, because we want to equip the boy child as well as the girl child. Right from kindergarten, they should grow knowing what they're getting into. In the morning, the Director General mentioned that you give a tablet to a 3-year-old, they'll be able to maneuver to YouTube to find Cocomelon. As they are growing, knowing how to operate a tablet, they should reach a level now knowing how should I protect myself online at a tender age. By 13 years of age, most people, they think differently from how 13-year-olds in the past used to. So at least by that age, most people are in secondary schools. So reaching that age, they should be able to know the platforms which are in place to protect them. So I'd say there should be structures in education as well as at institution level. There should be such endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you. Academia, I hope you are taking notes. Now I'll ask Lusungu. Can you share your thoughts on what is the role of government in empowering and inspiring the next generation of women in cyber security?
There are so many strategies that a government can implement to help the aspiring girls, women and girls in cyber security. We are here in Malawi, for example, we are not there yet. We are not rich, we are not poor, we are somewhere. So one of the strategies that I would ask the government to assist us with is by providing grants and scholarships. Also by coming up with supportive policies, awareness campaigns and mentorship and mentorship programs. Because like I said, one of the bigger gaps here in Malawi is role models in cybersecurity for ladies and for us women. So such programs would really help. Thank you.
Thank you. Jacqueline, would you want to add on that?
I'm not from Malawi, so I don't know if I'd give a
It's
concrete
just
answer.
government, even the government of Zambia, any
Okay,
government, what would they do?
So I'll share this. First of all, I'd like to commend the government in Malawi, especially because there's so much collaboration with this. We don't see this in the Kenyan space. In the Kenyan space, you have more private sector being active as compared to the government. So this is a step forward in the right direction, because many people get to look at what is the government doing. So seeing this initiative is very commendable here. And now it will go to now visibility, creating visibility more on these initiatives with the government. Today, the team that was here before, the team that had the ladies from the SAT, Miss Ella and her team, shared so much that's happening from the government perspective that people do not even know about. Some do not even know there's a site where you can go and respond, how do you say this? When you have an incident happening, you can go use that site to be able to get help and everything. Creating visibility around the programs that the government is trying to do would go a step further in ensuring that people are actually aware of what their government is doing. The digital landscape is expanding, and I believe that even the Malawi government is really trying to put in efforts to ensure that they're able to curb all these new threats that are coming up. So yeah.
Thank you. Madam Muntonga and your team, I hope you are taking notes. Now, Ms. Kubaro, representing the private sector. No, sometimes in the private sector, you are like, no, you know, government, boma. This is your chance. What should the government do to empower the next generation in cybersecurity? Now, from the private sector point of view.
Okay, firstly, I must say, it's important to reach out to the institutions. Sometimes you might assume that the institutions will just come to you, impose on you what they had planned. Of course, we have programs like at Airtel, where we've adopted schools which we assist in different areas. And of course, we also offer career guidance and stuff. But then there are some institutions which we know they want something. It's important to come forward rather than just assuming that you come through, the companies will come through. Yeah, it's important to assume sometimes, but you know, it doesn't really work like that. If you want something, you have to stand up. You know, if you want to get out of the boat, you need to stand up. It won't happen if you just sit. So like from the private sector, as much as we have such programs, it's important that you still reach out to us. We assess the cases and see which areas we can intervene first. So I would encourage the government to be working hand in hand with the private sector. There's always something for the community, which every company has in store. So please bring forward the request. Of course, we come to rescue based on assessment of the cases. So please bring them forth. We'll be glad to take a look and assist where possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The door is open. We should be able to go and knock where we feel like we need the involvement of the private sector. As we are winding up, I'll start with Jacqueline. There is a young girl in the crowd who would like to be inspired by you today? Can you give that girl your last thoughts about cyber security?
It's doable. It's not something that is in the stars that you can't reach for. All it takes is for you to commit to the goal, decide, I want this, and with everything in you, go forth for it and don't look back. Even when the life, so you're probably in a space of comfort right now where you're just like, I'm okay here, but I think I want more. Even when the comfort is calling you or the desire to know, put in the much work, because it will call for a very different version of you to exist, right? And in this life, I've continuously said, morph and allow yourself. So you who are there and you want to go into this space, go forth and do it. Start where you're at, look around you, what can you change, what can you integrate more. Do it because it's doable. One day it's going to be you sitting on this side, only if you decide to put in the work and make it make sense on your end. And also, you're not alone in this. We're all trying to figure it out, I promise you. Every lady seated here who you think that they've made it is also trying to figure it out to grow themselves into the next level. So even for you, start where you're at, you will get here. It's a journey.
All right, thank you. And Lusungu, there's also some women in the crowd. They feel like, oh, you know, we graduated in 2005 and we can't start this career. What word do you have for them as your closing remarks for them?
Okay, ladies, we can become anything that we want in this world. That's one thing that I've come to understand from where I'm coming from. I never thought in my lifetime I would be a manager in the bank and in a space of cybersecurity. You know, this field is considered a many thing, yeah? But no, girls, we can do it. You know, I'm a hacker. Yeah, I'm a hacker. So you can become anything that you want. You can also become a hacker one day. You have everything that you need to become that. You have everything that you need. Doesn't matter where you're coming from, the foundation. I've seen that we have girls from secondary school here. Let me talk to the girls from secondary school. Where I'm coming from, I used to be very childish. I didn't know why I was going to school. So when I had written my MSc exams, I had 49 points. I had a 9 in 8, I had a 8 in what? In maths. I never had a 6 or a 7. And then I stayed for a year without going to school, and then I started asking myself, what am I doing with my life? What am I going to become? So I went back to school. I started Form 3 to Praise Girls Secondary School. Form 4, I wrote. You know, I have a 1 in maths now from 9. I have a 2 now from 9 physical science. I have a 1 in BK. I only have credits and distinction. So you can become whatever you want as long as you believe in yourself. Thank you.
Thank you. Now to Ms. Kubaro as your closing remarks. We have men in the crowd who are supporting us. What word do you have for them? They have children, they have a girl child, they have their wives, they have their sisters in their homes. What message do you have for them?
It's really a privilege to have the men amongst us as allies and as also our mentors. And what I would ask from you is to continue pulling us. You know, you have girls in the homes, in the community, and in different spaces. What I would ask from you is that you shouldn't leave us behind. Please keep pulling us. We should be moving ahead. And like myself, I've been mentored by males a lot. And when I was studying my master's degree, in my class, I was the only female. So I was like, I mean, how do I proceed? You know, it wasn't easy, but with the encouragement which I got along the way, I realized, you know, it also starts with us ladies. We need to be open to ideas. When they tell you it's time to code, I mean, you should put in effort. Let's code. It's what you want, so you need to put in effort. But otherwise, not even the sky is the limit. Let's ask for help, and I would also, like I mentioned, ask the men to continue encouraging us, to continue pulling us, and to be our mentors. Thanks so much for your attendance, for always being there for us. We really appreciate.
Thank you very much. So, I have learned a lot from whatever has been shared here. As I've said, I've been in government for 17 years. After 3 years, I have an opportunity that I can voluntarily retire. But if I don't want to voluntarily retire, I can work up to 60 years. Why am I saying this? Career life is like a relay race. We are going to run our part, but there's a generation that has to take over from us. There's a generation that has to take over from our panelists from here. Whatever has been shared to you is just to inspire you that there is a lot that is happening in the cyber world, okay? And the government is one of the places where there's just a lot that is happening in the different ministries. So, be the change that you want to be in government, be the change that you want, be it at MACRA, be it at any organization that you want. But we are inspiring you to be part of the cyber security journey. With these remarks, let's give a clap to our panelists for your contributions. We can take our seats.
Thank you so much, ladies. I think we are inspired. Are we not? Are we not inspired? All right. So now we are going to have our breakaway session. This one is for the young girls. This session will be taking place in the next room. We are advised to carry our chairs, preferably the ones from the back. So, young ladies, I think we'll give you about 2 minutes to attend this breakaway session, and then we shall continue back here with a presentation. So, young ladies. Sorry? Define young ladies. These are the ones that are still in school. So if we are all young ladies, I know. We are all young ladies, but these ones are the ones that are either in high school or you are in college, you're still doing your university. These are the young girls that we are talking about. So, as young ladies that are working, please let us stay in this room. 20 years of experience managing cybersecurity programs. Currently, he is the CEO of Digital Safe Limited, a leading cybersecurity firm in Zambia. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Msonda Kapaya.
Hello? Hello? Good afternoon. My presentation is X-rated. They removed all the children. Check on the tech. Okay, it's this guy. What's happened? All right. I'm good to go. I am not very good at the politics side, but I will say all protocols observed. And I want to evangelize. So my name is Sonda, as introduced. I am CEO and founder of Digital Safe Limited, a cybersecurity, digital transformation, and risk consultancy firm domiciled in Lusaka, Zambia. I've been in the industry quite a bit. I think I sit more on the grandfather side. I've been IT and finance for close to 30 years. And full member of the ICT Association of Zambia, member of the Institute of Directors. And yes, I think my previous colleagues spoke a bit in terms of qualifications. I want to say that amassing qualifications is a journey in our field. And so for whatever you have heard, it's not going to end, because even where I am now, I'm still getting these qualifications, because our world is always evolving. So our topic today is a very interesting topic that speaks to how we want to improve our lives, how we want to improve our organizations, and so on. And this is by utilizing emerging technologies. But utilizing emerging technologies is not enough because it also comes with its own things. So we will be looking at emerging technologies, trends and advances in the areas of cybersecurity. I will focus a little bit on some of these emerging trends. So that will be our discussion. We'll look at the emerging technologies. I will look at the emerging technologies versus cybersecurity, the tech tug of war, and then we'll look over the horizon. But before I go on, I know this is after lunch, a little bit after lunch. I saw a few people watching their eyelids. And so I like to have interactive sessions, so all of you stand up. You can stretch. It's been a long day. I appreciate that. And I know these kind of things, can take you all the way to bed. But there's a reason why I want you to do that. Now, remain standing. So, if you know what Internet of Things is, sit down. If you know what Internet of Things is, sit down. Don't feel shy. This is okay. You're in the right place. Okay, that's everybody. Okay, that's good. No. If you're still standing, remain standing. If you know what quantum computing is, sit down. If you know what blockchain is, sit down. Okay, sit down. Okay. Before we do anything, I want you to test your own technology. You have a phone, and I think you can see the QR code behind, right? If you know what the QR code is, please raise your hand. You're laughing. Let's see who's going to laugh last. Okay, so there is a QR code. Please scan it. It will get you to a question. I've got 2 questions for you. If you can't scan the QR code, you can actually, through the website, through your browser, go to www.menti.com, www.menti.com, and enter that code that you see, 31476745. It should take you to a landing page. We're good? If you have a challenge, you can raise your hand. I can AI you. Are we good? Please, no Googling, no what. Answer the question as you know it. I will be able to tell if you're Googling by the time it takes you to answer the question. Are we good? Okay, I just want to make sure that everybody has gone there. So how many people do we have with some connected? 26. Well, much more than 26. Are we good? Okay, before the cheating starts, I'll ask the question anyways. Answer that, let's see. What does the QR in the QR code stand for? You also said you know it. Let's see if you know it or you don't. Answer as you know. Oops. This will be very interesting. QR codes. QR code. Scan it. What does it mean, QR code? Okay. For those that haven't answered, I will not bother. So, shall I say that voting? Okay, this is enough. So you have scanned the QR code, you've heard about it, and you know what it is. Now you know what it stands for. The majority is the correct answer. No, it's not. It's quick response. Only 9 of you have gotten it correct. Shame on you. QR code is quick response. The quick response, you click it, quick, it responds quickly. If you want now, you can Google. But there's no time for that. There's one more question that I'd like you to answer. Some of your things misbehaving. Okay. Here's one question. What is your biggest concern regarding the rapid development of emerging technologies? Give it a shot. AI job losses, privacy and job and data security, ethical implications of AI, is it the widening of the digital divide, or potential for misuse and unintended consequences? What is your biggest concern? Just one concern, please. Just one. I know there are all of them are concerns, but we want to know what's your biggest concern. Okay, I can see job losses. People are scared of losing jobs. No one will lose a job. There are a lot more new jobs that are coming out of emerging technologies. So you need just to be smart to know which direction you're going. Data privacy, yes, very big issue. Ethical implications. No one is worried about AI. Interesting. Widening the digital divide, potential for misuse. Okay, good balance. I would say that all these are issues that come with emerging technologies, right? But I'm sure by the time we end, you realize, that there's a lot of work that we need to do. I already see that not much is happening on AI there. In other places, that's normally the highest. But yeah, so let's go into the discussion. Emerging technologies. The dawn of the digital renaissance. What are we talking about? It was interesting to listen to the DG earlier this morning. I think he spoke to quite a number of things that are speaking to this presentation. Okay? How you are able to do all these things as Malawi, using technology, or how potentially you have the capability to do all these things using emerging technologies. So, a very quick definition, and I borrowed this definition from the World Economic Forum, speaking to emerging technologies. Emerging technologies are innovative and rapidly developing technologies that are poised to reshape industries, drive economic growth, and address global challenges in the near future. Are we together there? Pay attention. Innovative, rapid developing technologies, and poised to reshape industries. Some of the key emerging technologies that we quickly can look at, and I must say that for the time that we have, we won't delve too much into this, but I'll try as much as possible to speak to most of them. We have 5G for connectivity, super connectivity. We have quantum computing for superpower processing. We have AI and machine learning, for super intelligence. We have Internet of Things for super expansion of physical devices to connect to the internet. We have blockchain, for super data integrity and security. And of course, cloud technologies. My dear sister there is an expert, so we're happy that we have somebody who can speak to how to secure cloud technologies. Now, all of us in one form or another use these emerging technologies. Now, I'm surprised that there's not so much people talking about. I heard people talking about Google. I heard people talking about all these places. I didn't hear anyone talk about ChatGPT, the ChatGPT. When you hear that, hey, that's the students. Cheaters. They have stopped thinking on their own. That's not true. If you don't use ChatGPT, by the time I'm done, start using it. It's a very useful tool, okay? There is absolutely no reason why not to use it. Someone somewhere told me that asking students to write an essay is insulting artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence writes all the essays. Is that true, students? Is that true? You hear it for yourselves. Lecturers, you hear it for yourselves. Oh, they're back there. No, there's some students in here who are answering. They are their pupils. Okay, so there are so many use cases of emerging technologies. One of the most common ones is ChatGPT. Okay, based on artificial intelligence. We have Spotify DJ. For those of you that have used the app Spotify, you can actually have a DJ on that will actually pick the type of songs that you like, the genre that you like, and recommend a playlist for you. There's no need for you to start picking songs and doing that. Just look for Spotify DJ AI. We have smart homes. We also have telemedicine. I think some of these issues, like I said, were spoken to by the DG. So let's look at 5G. What do we know about 5G? 5G offers significantly faster data speeds, lower latency that previous generations cannot do. 5G can handle a much larger number of connected devices simultaneously. So when we look at 5G, how can you explain it? And again, these are some of the topics that people avoid discussing because there's a lot of explanations that are required to be done here. But I'll try and break it a little bit further in the simplest form I can. I try to put some analogies, and I need to remind myself. So 5G. One example I got is a car park. Okay, you go for an event. I think there was an event not too long ago here for those that like gospel music. I hear Maverick City was here, and some of you went there. The day before I was there in Lusaka, I watched them. But the issue is this: how is it when the event is done? How do you get home? How's the commotion? Okay? How is the limitation of you driving back after the event? Too many cars, not enough out, gates. Okay, it's giving you an analogy of what, 3G and 4G potentially would look like as compared to 5G. So 3G, 4G, full house, finish, you have to drive home. You will get home, but it's going to be what? Slow, right? You have to jump into the queue because the out probably roads are few, which means that's your bandwidth, that's how much data is going out at that minute. Not enough. 5G, on the other hand, is where multiple exits, okay? They even have dedicated exit for what? For emergency, okay? And so, when the concert is finished, you're all out of there. That's the kind of connectivity that we can look at from a 5G perspective. Now, with that kind of connectivity, what can we do? Okay? No latency, consistency. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, the phone calls will be clear. Okay? That's where we want to get to. But when we get to that, how much ammunition do we have for ourselves to improve what we do? Okay? Downloading a whole movie within a couple of seconds. HD movie. That's what you get with things like 5G. And 5G does have a lot of use cases. Access to health, telemedicine was one. With good connectivity, imagine what the DJ was talking about, connecting your medical equipment, having somebody from China to actually have access to that. You need fantastic speed, right? Fantastic connectivity. And 5G does provide that kind of connectivity. IoT, Internet of Things, ability to connect physical devices to the internet through sensors. Okay? These are technologies that are helping us in many, many ways. And how do we use IoT? There are so many use cases for IoT. Here's one simple one. CCTV before, when you install CCTV, you have to go to a location and look at the TV and see what is happening in the different cameras. When you connect CCTV to the internet, it means that you can actually monitor those cameras from a central location, right? It makes work much easier. Also, we also have in the homes now, physical devices have been connected to the internet. There are smart homes now. And imagine all these devices in your house are talking to each other. And so you set your alarm in the morning, it wakes you up. Your alarm sends a message to your coffee making machine. It starts making your coffee. As you are getting out of your house, the sensors in your room sense that you are up, the curtains open. That is very possible. I am not dreaming here. Are we together? This is real stuff that I'm talking about. Okay? That is very possible. We have smart homes. Okay? I'm here in Lilongwe. I can monitor what's happening at home. I can know who's at the gate because I can see them because my camera and my intercom is connected to the internet. That's what IoT does. And with that kind of technology, it's very, very important to appreciate how you can actually improve locally as a country, in the region, and so on. Benefits of emerging technologies. I remember once we went to a game reserve. We arrived on a Friday. Saturday morning, went for early drive, and we saw 7 lions. Why am I saying this? There was a German couple there that stayed for 5 days. They couldn't see one single lion because they didn't know where they were. With IoT, you can tag those animals, okay, with internet accessible devices, and you will know where they are. You will know when they are poachers, using drones and all this kind of stuff. This is the kind of stuff that we're dealing with today. We have the mighty quantum computing, okay? This is a discussion all of you should be having now. What is quantum computing? Super processing, okay? How can I analyze quantum computing? In a library, if you want to look for a book, typical computer, IT, traditional IT, processing ones and zeros of bits, will have to know where this book is, then you have to get the librarian to search for it and go and get that book. It may take you a bit. With quantum computing, it does have what they call super something, I remember. But that characteristic for quantum computing makes it available everywhere. So if you want to find a book, it will know exactly where that book is. Okay? So traditional IT is ones and zeros. Quantum computing uses qubits, quantum bits. Quantum bits are 1 or 0 at the same time. So that makes the processing power of quantum computing very, very much. Okay? So now you have this processing power. The risk with quantum computing today is that the existing crypto algorithms become invalid. Because of the processing power of quantum computing, all the encryptions that you have set up, there was Madam Cyber Security Manager there from the bank. I know they have a lot of different encryptions that I apply. With quantum computing, that becomes invalid. Okay? And yes, it's estimated around 2030 that this will be actually active. It's still in progress. But because of the emerging technologies, the process at which they're getting to quantum computing is much faster. So we have a risk there. What happens when quantum computing is in progress? It means that all your current cryptographic algorithms are invalid. Okay? So lawmakers and all you people, you need to start thinking about this kind of issues. That's quantum computing. But on the flip side, very powerful, can be used for many use cases. Blockchain. Blockchain is a decentralized distributed digital ledger technology that securely records transactions and tracks assets in a transparent and immutable manner. Now, also normally very difficult to explain to students, but I'll try. So these students refers to all of you. You're students of emerging technology. So here is an analogy. You have maybe a cooperative of farmers, and then they work together. So they're going to go and sell their produce. When they go and sell their produce, what normally happens is that if Nsambo goes and buys a couple of apples from one store, the farmer will put it down in the ledger. Okay, he'll write that transaction. And each of these farmers are going to be doing that. Now, if that farmer loses that ledger, that information goes, right? Are we together? But also, if this farmer decides to alter the transaction and say, no, I didn't sell this apple for $10, I sold it for $20, they will not know, because they were not there when that individual farmer was selling. So how blockchain works is, out of all those farmers, okay, once a transaction happens, it will be written down somewhere in the ledger into a block of information. And that block of information must be approved by each and every other farmer. That this is what we agreed, and so you can't change it. And once that is done, that block is attached to the chain. It's blockchain. Okay? So every transaction that happens around, every transaction that you are going to do, everybody understands that. Do you understand that? So that is why you find that blockchain is a very good technology for what? For data integrity. Okay, that's why you find that some people have developed use cases for voting. Because what will happen is that at every stage, every stakeholder in that chain will know what is happening. So when a voter registers, all of the people in that chain will know there's one more vote that has gone in. Okay, and also if there's an alteration, it has to be again approved by everybody. Okay, so this chain now is very difficult to alter. So you can't go and change, there were 60 voters, suddenly there are 90. No, with blockchain that's not possible. And that is immutable, you can't change that information. Do you understand the blockchain concept? So that in its simplest form is what blockchain is, and there's so many use cases that you can use it for. If you want to do something that's got data integrity, if you want to do something that's transparent, okay, and something that should not change. And some organizations have adopted this to monitor, especially supply chain, okay? If you're ordering something from the time it's ordered to the time it's delivered, at every stage you know what is happening, if there's any changes. That way you will know that I ordered my equipment from Germany, how come it has come from Guangzhou? You understand? So that is blockchain. That is emerging technology that we can all use for a number of things. Then the AI and machine learning, okay? Simplicity, teaching computers, engineering or science of teaching computers on how to think like a human being. Okay? It's got subsets, there's machine learning, there's deep learning, depending on whatever it is that you're doing. Okay? So for machine learning, it's basically teaching the computer different algorithms and data sets. When it learns that, then it's able to make predictions. Okay? Deep learning is a further step. That is where now, other than just learning that data, it is also able to use that data after learning and generate new information. So it begins to think at that stage. Okay? So at every level of these, there's different use cases for artificial intelligence. Cloud computing, we all know, basically scalability, redundancy, all these things that come with cloud computing. And this is also a very useful tool working together with the other emerging technologies. So, and then there's other emerging technologies like virtual reality, 3D, normally used for simulations. I can create an environment for you to test or train. Metaverse, where we connect the physical and the logical environment. Okay, we can create a very nice bar here. Physical people and other people are not even here, but they're here, logically using technology. And all that, if you think through, requires all these emerging technologies to be working. You need maximum speed, you need good power to process, you also need good connectivity and so on. We have robotics, automating, regular processes, big data, and mobile. So, with all these good things that we're talking about that are very possible, there's the tech tug of war. What am I talking about? There is also the bad side of it, right? What should we be worried about? What are the negative impacts of emerging technologies on cybersecurity? Quite a number of things, to be honest. So if you look at blockchain, I spoke about transparency. Sometimes, because we're sharing information, there may be data privacy issues that we have to consider. Yeah? Artificial intelligence is based on what? Teaching the computer how to think like a human being. However, you need also to know that human beings have got limitations. Yeah? We have the human intelligence residue that we have to deal with artificial intelligence. What is this? We're talking about biases. We're talking about trusts. We're talking about ethics. These are the things that are very difficult to teach a computer. Okay? Because I belong to a certain religion, I will carry with me certain biases. And if I am a developer, I may just include some of those biases in my AI. Are we together? That's possible, right? How do you trust? Ethical dilemmas. How do you trust an autonomous vehicle? Self-driving vehicles. How many of you can go with a self-driving vehicle? Come on. No trust whatsoever. That's the role of cybersecurity. So cybersecurity is supposed to provide us with digital trust. So all of you should have your hands up, because us cybersecurity guys are here. We'll deal with the problems. But however, you don't even trust us. However, here's the thing. Biases can be a very big challenge. And there are dilemmas in there. So somebody did pose a question. So here is an autonomous vehicle driving, and it develops faulty brakes. Okay? And where it is going, there's an older lady and there's a young girl. And it needs to go one direction. Which direction will it go? Remember, this is autonomous. It's driving itself. It's not a human being. Hard choice, isn't it? Okay? But these are the issues that we have to look at when we are working with artificial intelligence. So I know most of the younger people are already using artificial intelligence through things like ChatGPT, but I also know that there are organizations that are also using artificial intelligence in their data and business analytics, banks and all these financial institutions. And I also know that, I hope that there are security organizations or security departments that are using artificial intelligence-based defense. Yeah? So the question now is, if you are in organization X, okay, this is sponsored by Macra. This is an example, by the way. So Macra has got employees, all right? And some of these employees use ChatGPT. And in that ChatGPT, they're trying to write a report. Okay? In that report, it's board, they need to do board papers, and they're using the intelligence of Copilot and all this stuff. They are giving ChatGPT all this interesting information from your organization. And remember, when you give ChatGPT that information, it learns it. It will not unlearn it. It learns it. So therefore, tomorrow, if I want to go onto that platform and ask ChatGPT some of these interesting questions, it may just give me the answers to the information you put there. How about that? So, what are you doing about that? Do you have AI policies in your organizations? Are you in a position to tell what kind of artificial intelligence systems you are using? Are you in a position to tell, if you're using artificial intelligence, what kind of data it is learning? Is there integrity in the data? Okay? So when you look at AI, you look at deep learning, maybe further, and start looking at chatbots, okay, natural language You're looking at chatbots. You've got customer service, automated chatbot. Every time you call this organization, it picks up and answers the questions based on what it has learned, right? It's also possible that I could feed that chatbot with wrong information. Just a few insults. Okay? And then you pick up, and then you call this bank or you call this institution, and then it executes a few F words to you. How would that be from a reputational perspective? So do we know what kind of information we're using from AI? So when you look at that, data poisoning is one of those. Okay, it's very possible to alter the data that your artificial intelligence is learning and create some havoc. Okay? Increase the attack surface. When you look at Internet of Things, what is it looking at? We are connecting physical devices. Okay? We want these physical devices to be managed by IT. So we put sensors on them. We allow them to connect to the internet. Once all these devices connect to the internet, it means they become point of attack. So now all these physical devices which initially used to sit on their own, the fridge is sitting there, the TV is sitting there, you want all of them to be smart, they all become internet connected, they are all points of attack. So we are expanding the attack surface, we're making it a bit more difficult now to protect your environment. For everything that connects to the internet becomes a playground for the threat actors. Yeah? And most of these smart devices don't even come with proper security because they're not designed to secure. They're designed to provide you a service. And sometimes security could actually counter the service. So they'll not put enough of it. Okay? Adversarial AI attacks, what does that mean? It means that with ability to have 5G connectivity, with ability to have quantum computing processor, power processing, I can now attack you comfortably. Okay? Most organizations we have seen are using human beings and traditional cybersecurity tools. What are traditional cybersecurity tools? Tools that you use to protect yourselves through configurations. You configure the system to tell it how it should defend you. Okay? You go and download signatures so that you allow whenever a virus, whatever comes, the computer knows it. Those are a problem because you are fighting against bots now. Okay? You are fighting against artificial intelligence managed devices that are going to attack you in numbers. So you have a good cybersecurity department, 2 people normally. Most organizations don't invest much, maybe 1 if you're lucky. You depend on a third party somewhere, okay? And you're using some traditional related cybersecurity tools. That is a problem. We need to move away from traditional cybersecurity tools to behavioral based. Things that will identify something dodgy is not right. I need to check this again. Other than waiting to know how this was not configured like this, so I don't know how to check this. Don't use traditional cybersecurity tools. Breaking encryption, I spoke about that from a quantum processing perspective. Blockchain also, as much as it may be able to give you integrity, it does also come with error codes. The developers of those things may develop it wrongly. And if your blockchain is set up wrongly, remember it's immutable, it will be very difficult for you to undo. Privacy issues, both from artificial intelligence as well as blockchain, are applicable. Okay? Scalability also, capacity to manage this. If you're extending your blockchain, every time there's new transactions, do we have capacity? How easy to scale? Then it also gets more interesting because of the ability of all these emerging technologies. We are now looking at a lot of crime as a service activities. Okay? What am I saying? You don't have to know how to code. You don't have to be an ethical hacker. Just go to the dark web and buy. Okay? You are going to buy a ransomware for $120 and ransom an organization for $6 million. Those are things that are there. Okay? It's called ransomware as a service. It's called crimeware as a service. These are the things that we're now dealing with. Okay? The attack vectors have diversified, they've evolved, they're becoming simpler because we have the technology. Okay? So, as much as we can appreciate the good side of the emerging technologies, we do have the what? The dark side. Agreed? Thank you for being awake. So, we have all these problems. Then how well do we use AI anyways? So we can also use artificial intelligence from a defense perspective. Like I said, if you're already using traditional cybersecurity tools, it's a problem. So we need to transition away from traditional cybersecurity tools to behavioral-based. The ones that are able to learn your environment, which are AI-based. They will learn your environment, they'll know the things that you do on a regular basis, and they'll flag activities that are not looking normal on your behalf. Put it aside until you come and verify, actually this is an okay transaction, let's proceed. Okay? So threat detection becomes much faster, okay, because it knows your environment, it's got the power to identify. And you know cyber resilience is about what? It's about a time to come back, to recover, okay? Cyber defense is good, but cyber resilience is better. The reason is simple, attacks are the constant. It doesn't matter where you are, how you are, you will be. As we speak now, attacks are happening. Okay, it's what you do with those attacks. I think my earlier colleague, my brother, spoke about CrowdStrike there. Okay, they did have a problem, even though it was not a cyber attack. Okay, but the time it took them to come back is recommended for a magnitude of that. An organization that has 25% market share, no joke, in the world. So the time it takes for us to recover is very, very cardinal, okay? Now, because we've got all these nice tools, we can do what? We can create nice phishing emails. We're aware about phishing, right? Click that link, blah, blah, blah. Now we're even making it more authentic because these guys are also using artificial intelligence. Yeah? Blockchain. We can use blockchain for good, like I said. If you want to ensure data integrity, security, decentralize the storage of, your different blocks, blockchain is a good way to go. Quantum computing, there's post-quantum computing. So now, quantum computing can break your encryption now, but it also has capacity to make very complex encryption. So going forward, that is what we're looking at. Post-quantum problems is to be able to ensure that we can actually have some solid encryption. And that's what quantum computing does. Okay? Also, earlier I did hear some people talk about zero trust. Yes, zero trust is very, very important. And we can achieve that with AI, okay, because it has the capability to identify quickly. So we don't want, if you're not supposed to be there, if you're not supposed to know, if you shouldn't be doing anything, it's no, by default. Okay? Then 5G, IoT, and cloud. So enhanced visibility, because we can use IoT to actually spread across, devices and monitor and collect information, it makes it easier for us actually to do analytics. Having said that, let's look over the horizon. So we have a challenge. I mean, emerging technologies are fantastic. We have to use them. We have no choice. If you don't use any of these, you will remain behind. Okay? I'm not speaking on behalf of Africa. I'm not going to be one of those. Okay? We have to match up from a tech perspective because that's where the world is going. Everyone has gone digital. Whether it is a country, individuals, even fight for the version of the phone that you're using, just take photographs. Because it's got higher quality and all this kind of thing. We all have to play in the digital space because that's where everything is. So, these are the potential threats that we should be looking at. We've discussed most of these, but just to highlight, remember the quantum threat. Start talking about it, start investigating, get to know, will it have any implications to our organization, to our country? Because other worlds have started talking about it, okay? How are we going to be managing the blockchain errors, okay? How are we going to, for the ethical hackers that we had here, how are you going to be pen testing this thing so we know that what is going in here is correct, okay? From an AI perspective, we have heard of deepfakes, right? Again, I think Digit did speak about it. Synthetic people, we create your face as you look, we create a synthetic voice as you sound, and then we say things you didn't say. You've seen that before? It's there, okay? This year, I think we're talking about how many elections? About 97? 97 elections globally. Okay? One of the biggest challenges that we see from a democracy perspective is deepfake, misinformation, and disinformation. Okay? Very, very big challenge. If this morning the president said something he didn't say, what does that look like? If this morning the Reserve Bank governor woke up and said the interest rates have been reduced and now kwacha, also foreign exchange rates have been changed, 1 kwacha to $1. What will happen? Okay? Let me tell you what will happen. Because of that sentiment, there are people that have been hiding dollars. They'll have to take them back. Okay? There will be chaos on the market because it wasn't even the governor who said it. So how then do we protect ourselves from these emerging threats that are coming? Very, very important. One of the challenges that was brought out at the World Economic Forum was on misinformation and disinformation around the elections. Okay? People wrongly advised to vote for the wrong people. How about out of the 97 countries, 50 countries vote for wrong presidents? What would be the reality in terms of the world? Okay? Serious implications that we're looking at here. This is not child's play. Okay? Do not take these things lightly. Okay? I'm being chased away, but I'll quickly finish. Okay? Let's not take these issues lightly. Misinformation is wrongly informing people intentionally. Okay, with information, or sometimes unintentionally. Most of you people like to read half a message. It's funny, without reading all of it, you post it in a family group or in office group before you even finish reading it. And then you realize it's actually not correct. Very common that. Disinformation is sending information deliberately, wrong information to the people. Okay, autonomous vehicles, safety is an issue. I spoke about that. Erosion of online trust is another issue. Online is very difficult now to tell whether it is a human being or not. So that is going to be a problem to us because we have to be able to identify that in order for us to provide that digital trust. Okay, natural knowledge skills gap, I think discussed quite a bit here because of the emerging technologies, all that kind of stuff. This kind of conversations need to be more. There are more people that need to learn. We will keep remaining behind. If we don't apply ourselves in these new emerging technologies, there is also what they're calling the cyber poverty line. Very interesting, okay? The organizations that have got capacity to protect themselves will do that. The ones that don't will remain behind. The problem is it's an ecosystem. So in an ecosystem like this, you have organizations that are secure and others that are not, and they're interconnected. So where is the safety there, okay? And then, of course, the usual digital divide. So how many people in the remote areas will have the ability to do AI and all these things? I'm not too sure. So what should be the focus? Let's look at governance. Okay? All these emerging technologies, I think there are a lot of conversations that people are talking about in terms of AI especially. Okay, I can attest to one ISO standard for the 2001, okay, which I have done, speaks to artificial intelligence management systems. Okay, there is NIST, which is talking about AI risk management and all these other things. Zero trust, we've spoken about. Behavioral analytics, move away from traditional cybersecurity tools and go to artificial intelligence based on machine learning. Development, secure development is very, very important. Okay, most of these things that we do, again, cloud experts will tell us there are a lot of challenges that they see from misconfigurations, from APIs that are connecting. These are things that are caused by people. We have to make sure that we know what we're doing. Adaptive security. So when you apply number 6, threat intelligence and information sharing are very, very key. That's a new risk management, okay? So if you are not able to do things like threat hunting, you're not able to identify potentially what things can go wrong in the environment, you have a problem. What we want is we want to be able to predict and prevent other than detect and respond, okay? Simple, in simple English, prevention is better than? That's correct. And so, with great power comes great responsibility, said Stanley. With great power comes great responsibility. Emerging technologies in cybersecurity are a double-edged sword, okay? As we harness these technologies, we must balance innovation with vigilance, ensuring cybersecurity evolves to protect against threats of tomorrow. There are a lot of things that are following us people. Let's be alive. Thank you.
Before we let you go, I think we'll take 2 comments or questions from the floor.
Emerging questions.
Thank you. My name is Precious Msonda. I would like to learn or maybe hear or advice from you. What advice can you give to students, especially students who are in tech, students in tech, who use, say, AI or maybe in short ChatGPT to maybe write codes for them, and you as a lecturer, you like to assess the students, for example, and you realize that the students are quite good in other areas. Say, for example, maybe you give them assignments and stuff, they are doing quite very good. But when it comes to exams, for example, practical exams, they're not doing good. So what is your advice? What can you advise these students to balance between building skills at the same time making use of the tools? The tools, yes.
Yeah. First of all, how are you, my namesake?
I don't know.
Do you know that I'm Msondas at Malawi?
Yeah, that's what I'm learning. That maybe the Msondas like IT or something like that, because I'm a data scientist.
Awesome, awesome. So you need to do some research there. Okay, so I will give you my personal opinion. I would say I am a great user of technology. I like to encourage people to use technology. It would be very difficult to stop students from using technology now that they're using, because it makes them efficient. In other cases, it makes them a little bit more efficient than they should be. I think that the educational style must change a little bit to suit the current emerging technology environment. So what I do, and by the way, I do a lot of internship programs, for those of you that would be interested. I like to focus on a hands-on and physical experience, because now, like I said, asking somebody to write a report, we know how the report is going to look like. So it is important that we harness the skills that we have, okay? We have to teach them the real skills. It's really very difficult to stop them from using ChatGPT or any other tools that are there. And now there are even more tools. ChatGPT is not even the best, okay? There are tools you can use to develop anything, to design and coding. I'd rather use, coding that has been developed by something that knows what it's doing and beautify it. But I think the fundamentals, the foundation of whatever it is that they're learning has to be learned, and they themselves be hands-on. To tell them to stop, I think it's a bit of a tough one for me. I think we need to really look overall at how we're teaching the students. That's my personal opinion. We need to focus more hands-on, actually a combination, but a little bit more hands-on than just allowing them to run theory. And it's unfortunate that most universities that teach cybersecurity, most people that have these certifications are literally just theory. There are a few certifications that you can dip in, but most of the certifications that are available, especially this side of the world, are very theoretical. And that is why, for those of you that have attempted to conduct interviews for cybersecurity experts, they are always disappointing, because they can't be hands-on, but they have certifications. So hands-on, very big. If they do use that ChatGPT, we have to make sure they understand what they're talking about. There are now tools that even if you write an essay and you run it through a plagiarism software, there are AI tools that do unplagiarize it. So it's really getting more complicated as we're going in. So I think we need to sit back and rethink how we're actually doing education. That will be my contribution.
We take one more.
Thank you so much for a very enlightening presentation.
Thank you.
My question is, on the practical side, we have working systems that are currently working, let's say in government. I work in government, so I'll be referring to the government systems. What advice would you give us on how we already have working systems? How do we incorporate the emerging technologies to the existing systems?
Okay.
Yeah.
So always the first thing that you do is to do a gap assessment. You need to understand, as you are looking at these emerging technologies, and I'm going to speak on the topic of an AI, for example. What capability or what capacity as a government do we have to actually manage AI technology as it's coming? What do we have, okay, in terms of governance to be able to control? Where are we in terms of regulation and legislation? Okay, for a typical organization, I always tell them, start with a policy, okay? Do understand what is in your environment, what is running AI, what is not, and I think the same applies to all the other emerging technologies, and then start from there. Because right now, we also do have other challenges, especially when I've done some gap assessments before. Some of the problems we have is that we have legacy systems that can't even integrate with AI. So what does that mean? It means that it becomes a big budget for government to come and overhaul, you know, the government bus or whatever it is that you call it, which is already integrating with so many other applications at that stage. So we need to start using these technologies, okay, in the sandbox. We need to start knowing how they work. We need to start knowing what regulations and legislation need to put in place, okay, and then we start from there. Otherwise, if we're not using them, if we don't know how they work, it will be very difficult even to put the laws and guidelines in there, the guardrails that we should. So in Africa, governments are known to be lagging behind, which we shouldn't be because we're always in front. So we should be the ones driving the agenda. Okay, we need to work collaboratively with private sector and make sure that we're sitting on the same page. But yeah, to answer your question, get involved with the emerging tech, put in the right rules, start from the beginning. Understand where are you with utilizing these technologies that are coming. And also remember that the private sector will be ahead of you, so you are the regulator. How are you going to regulate things that have already come into market? So those conversations must be had. Discussions like this, A+.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kapaya. We will let you take your seat now.
All right.
We can do better. Thank you. We'll have our last agenda item for the day, which is the panel discussion. This one will be taken by Constance Chongwe. Constance, please take a stand. This one will be on pioneering the future, emerging trends, shaping the cybersecurity landscape. She will introduce her panelists. You have 30 minutes. Thank you.
Good afternoon. It's quite tricky always when you have a presentation in the afternoon. After Didaja, where, you know, it's quite hot. So I'll still say good afternoon, everybody. Yeah. My name is Constance Chongwe. I am moderating this afternoon's session, which is under the theme Pioneering the Future, Emerging Trends, Shaping the Cybersecurity Landscape. I am, well, just a little bit of a background of myself. I am an ICT specialist currently serving under the Department of E-Government, which is also under the Ministry of Information and Digitization. I am also one of the few members of the initial establishment of the government CERT. I believe we have heard about the Malawi CERT and the sectoral certs that have to be established in the sectors. I am one of the initial members, one of the few female initial members of the establishment of the government CERT. I would like to call to the stage three remarkable ladies that are doing remarkable things in the cybersecurity space. I will first call to the stage one of the panelists, Priscilla Maliwichi, who is a PhD candidate at the University of Cape Town and is a coordinator for the Center of Artificial Intelligence and STEM, and is also a lecturer in ICT at MUST. Priscilla. I am also going to call to the stage Emma Kapambwe, who is a cybersecurity specialist who is working with the Zambia Information and Communication Technology Authority. Emma. And my last panelist is Ella Hamwaka, who is also a cybersecurity specialist that is working with the Malawi CERT. We saw Ella in the morning up here. Ella. A hand for Ella, please. Okay, welcome, ladies. Just a little bit of something to give you so you can, have it in your mind, something to think about. I have a little bit of a quote from Chuck Robbins, who is the CEO of Cisco Systems. He once said, and I quote, I'm going to read this out, "The game changes every day in the cyber field, and it is a phenomenal place to be for intelligent, curious, inquisitive people. So I think it represents an opportunity for women everywhere, particularly in light of the need of women in technology. Cyber is such a natural place to be." That's just something that we could think about. So we've had a presentation from Musonde highlighting a bunch of emerging trends, right? Basically, this is going to be a discussion. We're going to be chatting about these emerging trends that are shaping the cybersecurity landscape. But before we go into the emerging trends, we also have to look at where we are now. What are the current trends? Where are we when it comes to the current trends before we even look ahead at the emerging trends, right? Now, when it comes to the cyberspace, there's several things that we have to look at. We cannot talk about, cyber without looking at infrastructure. We cannot talk about it without looking at policy. We can also not talk about cyber without looking at the skills. I believe this has been highlighted throughout the day about skills and capacity. When it comes to skills and capacity, there is a lot of lacking in that aspect. So now I'm going to turn to you ladies. Firstly, I would like it in your own understanding. Can you give us what you feel or how you feel that we currently are, where we currently are in regards to cyber trends, right? The current cyber trends. Where are we? Whether it's in regards to Malawi, whether it's in regards to globally, whether it's Africa in general. Where are we? Are we progressing or not? I am going to start with Ella. Can you give us a little bit of your understanding of where we are in regards to the current cyber trends?
Okay, thank you so much, Constance. In regards to cyber trends, I'm going to say we're really progressing, especially at a global scale. Now, when I talk of our countries, especially in Africa, We're getting there. I believe the fact that we're setting up offices that can handle issues to do with cybersecurity, we have no choice but to utilize these trends that are coming up. A good example that I'm going to give is that now things are automated. I think that's why it's been emphasized that you do not have to have a cybersecurity background or an IT background for you to do something in STEM. So before, especially when issues of programming, cybersecurity were coming in, the idea we had was that it's all technical. So we would, as technical people, would mostly operate with it in what we call command line interface. So it has no pictures. It's just some strange things you see on the screen. But now, I believe with the emerging technologies and trends, things have now been made graphical. So you can actually have people that haven't done anything technical come into this field as well as utilize it because they now have an interface that they can easily get familiar with. So on the issue of the trends, I believe, yeah, we're getting there. We're not yet there, but we're getting there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ella. I believe that's very, very true. Emma, what's your position on this?
I think when it comes to the trends, you can actually see from the number of scammers that we have. I'm speaking Southern and maybe Eastern Africa, that people are a bit more knowledgeable in the cyberspace. So from that perspective, you can tell that we're moving somewhere. It's obviously like a negative thing, but it just gives you a perspective of where we are. If people are able to social engineer and do all these different things and use artificial intelligence to do all these different things, it means we're actually progressing. Like Ella mentioned, we are getting there. We're not yet there, but we're getting there.
Thank you very much. Emma, you have anything to add, Priscilla?
I think as a country, we are doing great. For example, I'm an academic, and at MAST, we have a specialized program, a bachelor's in computer systems and security. I think we've been running it for more than 5 years now, and we have graduates to prepare the country to tackle cybersecurity issues. So I think we are on a good track. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Priscilla. Thank you also for giving a little bit of a perspective from the academia. The next part that we're going to look at is emerging threats and challenges. I believe that in the presentation from Sunday we've heard of things like ransomware. We've heard things like phishing and all of that. What are some of the key emerging threats and challenges that the cybersecurity industry is currently grappling with? So this can be whether it is in your offices or just in general. I know Malawi CERT deals with general. You may deal with it in your office space, Can you give us just a little bit of an overview of some of these key emerging threats and challenges that the cyber industry is currently grappling with? Ella, I can start with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm first of all going to talk of the challenge that we have.
Yeah.
The biggest challenge that we have, I think we can all agree in all our countries, our offices, whatever it is, the biggest challenge that we have is the people on ground. That's the biggest issue. There is a shortage of cybersecurity specialists. And because of that, you find that even they are overwhelmed with trying to protect us, especially at stakeholder level. And it even makes it more difficult to even focus on those at the very bottom, which is individuals. Now, when we talk of the emerging threats, there are so many. So I'm just going to share in the perspective of Malawi. Currently, I'm sure by now we must know what a ransomware is. because there have been so many cases, and some that have even been handled by Malawi CERT, of ransomwares. So your system is attacked, and what the attacker is going to do is they're going to lock it. They're going to encrypt everything. So they use, when you open your documents, you won't be able to open your documents because everything is locked, right? So what they'll ask for in return to open them for you is money. It's ransom. The same way a child can be captured and they tell you if you want your child back, you need to give money. It's the same issue with the systems now. So we've had the emerging threats that are disturbing our country at the moment, or especially Africa at the moment. We have ransomware. We also had in the previous panel discussion, it was talked of about social engineering. So social engineering has a lot under it. The most common thing under social engineering is the fact that social engineering is called an art. So it's called an art because it needs a psychology background for you to be able to perform it. So it's a way of taking information from someone without them knowing it. So I can chat with you for 2 minutes and you won't know it that you've actually revealed your password to me. And you'll be surprised that you've lost everything, your account is messed up. So these are one of the threats that we're experiencing. And another part of social engineering that is really putting us in trouble nowadays is phishing. So it was already talked of in Mosonda's presentation to say that phishing, one can create a duplicate of, for example, the Malawi CERT website. And then, once you have an incident, you automatically go to the Malawi CERT website and you enter your details on trying to report an incident. So you have to be very careful on that. You should never trust but always verify, because it can happen that that page looks like Malawi CERT's page, but it's actually a page that's been recreated by the hacker or attacker. So you enter your details, you're hacked again. So yeah, there is so much that the hackers are using in respect to the upcoming trends, and there's so much that we can also utilize. We can make life easier with the way things have been automated for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ella, for that. I believe you're right. We have heard about a lot of cyber incidents in the country. There is a lot that have been on social media. Well, we have others that you may not even know about, whether in the private or in the public sector. So that is very true. I would like to go to you, Emma. We've had a little bit of an overview of these threats in accordance, well, mostly it's in accordance to the Malawian landscape. You're from Zambia. Can you give us just a little bit of these emerging threats that are happening according to Zambia, or just even on a global scale?
Thank you, Constance. So I think our problems may be similar, but I think one emerging threat that we have, as well as social engineering, as we all know, we've been trying to go cashless, especially Eastern and Southern Africa. We're now storing money in what we're calling mobile wallets or mobile money wallets. So you find that back then you would need someone to have a technical background to sort of hack you or get money from you. But now someone can literally go and learn this on YouTube, or like Mr. Kapaya said earlier, just go on the dark web, buy a program, learn how to hack someone. So I think for us, we've had a really big challenge with social engineering in the aspect of losing money from, these cashless systems. But also, I'll be remiss if I don't mention a different side of an emerging threat that we have, which is mostly on social media, what we're calling online gender-based violence. We've seen a number of women and men being attacked online. So it comes in different forms. It could be cyber extortion, it could be cyber stalking, but that's something that we have emerging. And we've seen that some of these threats actually inhibit development. For instance, we have women in Zambia who are in politics but wouldn't want to be in front, you know, in the main politics or wouldn't want to run for presidency because they're scared of what people will say online. So you have now issues of governance coming in. You find we have young girls or young women who have been bullied online who don't want to use systems anymore because of their experiences online, which then exacerbates the issue of the digital divide. So I think that's something that we have in Zambia that's really trending right now. Thank you.
That's quite a major issue that is rarely discussed, online gender-based violence. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Yeah, I would like to go to Priscilla. Now, as we have looked at an overview of a couple of these threats that are occurring, what do you believe are some of the technological advancements in the field of cybersecurity that are transforming the way that we approach and protect and mitigate some of these threats? Yeah, I do know that in the presentation before covered some of them. I don't know, you could just give us just a little bit of your view of how we can handle some of these threats. Priscilla.
Okay, thank you so much. Of course, when we are protecting ourselves also, we need to use good tools. For example, we can use biometrics to secure our systems, as well as he mentioned, we should take advantage of AI and machine learning to secure our systems. AI is fast because it can analyze things very fast than us humans, so it's able to detect if there have been vulnerabilities and stuff like that in our systems. So we have to make sure that these new security features that are in place, like multi-factor authentication and all that, we should leverage them in our systems. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Priscilla, for that insight. Emma or Ella? Okay, let me start with Emma. Do you have any addition to that on any how all of these technologies, the AI, the machine learning, the cloud computing, all of them are reshaping the cyber security landscape?
Thank you. I would like to maybe pick up something that Mr. Kapaya mentioned in the presentation before when he was talking about machine learning and AI. I think what we need to understand is that these machines literally will feed off what you feed them. So, for instance, before I mentioned online gender-based violence, you find that even on your socials or on your browser, you will get what you usually search for. So if you like money, you attract scammers. Why? Because that's what you're putting in. If you are, for instance, looking for marriage, you attract proposals, whether they're genuine, whether they're not. So it's literally dependent on what you are feeding your machine or what you are feeding your phone. So I think the advancements, sorry, I digress, but yes, the advancements when it comes to cybersecurity and AI are very helpful. These are machines that we can use, different tools that we can use to protect ourselves, but we also have to be cognizant with what we are putting in there and what we expect to get back.
Yeah, thank you so much, Emma. Ella, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I'm just going to talk of artificial intelligence and machine learning from a perspective that can actually benefit us.
Yeah.
So this is just to everybody. Artificial intelligence can do a lot for you. You don't exactly have to be technical with it, but in whatever field that you're in general, it's really going to help you. Because as already said by Emma and Sonda, that whatever you feed it is what it's going to give you. So we have a statement, like a phrase in computers in general. We say garbage in, garbage out. So you give it garbage, it's going to give you garbage. So what I'm trying to say is that you can use artificial intelligence if you're trying to get into programming. take it as a challenge for yourself. You can always produce something, you know, through artificial intelligence. For example, you tell it, I want to create a system. I want it to collect all names of students from the database and make it into, for example, it can be a chart or something. Take it up. Because what artificial intelligence is going to do is that it's not going to give you a perfect thing. It's just going to give you a background of it. So now take it up as a challenge for yourself and start working on it until you perfect it. So I believe artificial intelligence is just one of the stones that you can help to build yourself up in whatever field you're in, especially in cybersecurity. So you can use artificial intelligence to even find scholarships, you know. You can also use it to find you challenges online. Because it was talked of earlier during the day, I've just forgotten who mentioned it, to say we have bug bounty hunting. So you can also build your career in bug bounty hunting through artificial intelligence. So it can help you find bug bounties. So you find a challenge. So what happens in bug bounties is you have a challenge. You find that challenge. It tells you, we want you to find problems with this system. We want you to find problems with this software. So you start working on it continuously until you find issues. So you submit these issues to the owners of that infrastructure, and at the end of the day, you get a bounty, which can be in money, you know. Yeah, so I believe this is just one of the special ways that we can use artificial intelligence. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ella, for that insight, something that can be used by all of us here, something that can help us all. The final aspect of this is we've been talking about skills, we've been talking about capacity building, right? What do you think are some of the critical sets and competences that will be in high demand in the cyber security fields in the future? Now, as we're talking of, you know, pioneering the future, let's try and give these wonderful women and men a little bit of an overview of some of the cyber security skills and competences that will be in high demand in the cybersecurity field in the future. So maybe some of them can take something up and, you know, focus on that. Yeah, for the sake of the future. Let me try start with you, Priscilla, since you are in the academia sector. Priscilla.
Okay, thank you so much. So, of course, in Malawi, we can say that we need to work hard so much, for example, in issues like digital forensics and stuff like that. But also for the future, we need to look at these emerging technologies and look at what type of vulnerabilities are going to come so that we should be able to defend ourselves. So, for example, when you are building our curriculum, we should be able to make sure that we look in that perspectives and be able to develop those curriculum. So, digital forensics, of course, ethical hacking is there, and other network security issues, because we cannot protect ourselves. We are in the connected world if we cannot protect our infrastructure on the ground. So this, we need to make sure that we really build capacity in these areas so that we should be able to protect ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Priscilla. Let me just bring in just a little bit of an extension of that. How can we better attract or retain, which is very, very important. There's a lot of women that like to run away from this field. I think we have established that all throughout the day. Yeah. How can we better attract, retain, and develop the next generation of diverse cybersecurity professionals? I'm going to start with Emma.
Okay, thank you, Constance. So I think one way is, first of all, what Marco is doing right now. We need to start this from a young age. So it's very commendable for them to bring young girls who are in high school, college students come here and have these very important discussions of the importance of cybersecurity and where the sector is going. And I think also just having people who are intentional about this. So a lot of mentorship programs. We do this a lot in Zambia. So we have a Women in Technology Network, for instance, where we bring on board young girls, encourage them to take up ICTs, even the wonderful work that Jacqueline's doing and all these mentors across Africa. So I think we are on the right path. When it comes to retaining, the aspect of money should come in. Cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is the money-making industry, so it's important to let people know that as we are going ahead, you'll be able to make a lot of money in this field. I think that can encourage people.
Yeah. This is a little bit of a part that's not normally touched, so that's a very, very good addition to that. We need to encourage people. You need to make sure you know that as you're venturing into this field, you're going to make some money. Ella, do you have anything else to add?
Yes, I just wanted to say that I know most of us have asked ourselves to say, since I was born, we have been trying to empower women. And I'm old now, and we're still trying to empower women. When is it going to end? I'll just make it short for you. I don't think it will. Because there are still a lot of issues that we're trying to address. And majority of them are that we lack so many role models in a lot of the parts that women are not in. So to allow women to get into some of these fields, including cybersecurity, let us be role models. You know, I did say it, and there's emphasis on this. Do not think of cybersecurity as just technical. You can be very technical with it. I'm very technical with it. But you can become a role model in whatever field that you're in by pushing cybersecurity into it. So for girls to get into this field, for other women to get into this field, let us be the role models to show them that it is actually possible to be in it. And another thing is that we need to continue promoting trainings and awareness for them. Girls, ladies, most of us are not exposed to these things, and therefore we think that it's not possible. You know, you find trainings and who's hosting? A man. So you begin to think, okay, I've learned something today. I think this just reminds me of the lady that was on here on stage. She said she got a number last year. She got Excel's number, but she never reached out due to her personal reasons. But what if we actually did have the confidence to reach out and say, hey, I want to do this. Okay, I've seen you do it. I know we have some biological differences, but definitely if your brain can handle it, I believe that my brain can handle it too. So yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Emma, for those encouraging words. I believe we've been hearing this all throughout the day, that it is possible, we can do it, just as Ella has completed this. I believe a major issue is to be intentional. If I could borrow a word from Emma, we have to be intentional about this. We have heard about these emerging trends. Let's make sure we continue researching on this. That's the whole aspect of being intentional. Let's continue researching, you know, getting to learn more. As we go, I would like to see this group of ladies to be, you know, to be the one that brings the table. You know, people are always asked, or women are normally asked, what do you bring to the table, whether in just life or, you know, professionally or whatsoever. Let's be ahead of time and let's be the ones that bring the table. This is all that I had for you, myself and these wonderful panelists here. Thank you so much for your attention, and have a great evening. Thank you.
I saw a very persistent hand. Was that a question? We'll take this one and then we'll close.
Thank you very much. My name is Grace Ganyeta, and mine's mostly a comment. So as they were presenting, Era mentioned about shortage of cybersecurity specialists as one of the challenges in the cybersecurity industry. And then Priscilla went on to mention about how MAST has a program which is aiming at producing cybersecurity experts. But I think some of you might agree with me when we say that in as much as we have people wanting to join the cybersecurity industry, most organizations or companies in Malawi are not looking for cybersecurity experts. So it's really discouraging when someone has actually gotten certificates and the trainings that are required to get into the industry, only to hear that people are not looking for that which you've studied. So mostly when people are done, for instance, the program that Priscilla was talking about, mostly when people are done and they're doing internships, they get to industries where they're telling them, oh, we're not looking for cybersecurity experts, we're looking for software developers. So these guys are forced to join the industry and start coding when what they wanted to do is not that. Maybe we can just encourage, as Malawi said, since you handle so many excellence, maybe you can also look into encouraging organizations and companies to also empower young people so that when they study these things, they're not just studying them and then never use them, but maybe you can encourage them to also get young people to join the industry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to add one or two, three points that touch on everything that have been said since I arrived here late this morning. And one of the first challenges I see that face many countries, especially in Africa, is that of uncertainty, especially when it comes to emerging technologies. In the sense that there is either excessive regulation by the regulators like MACRA, or lack of regulation, which creates uncertainty. Excessive regulation stifles innovation. Lack of regulation creates uncertainty in the market, and therefore hinders mainstream adoption of these emerging technologies. So that's one of the areas that we need to look into, and a situation that is made worse by the isolated standalone development of regulation among cooperating countries. For example, within the SADC, every country wants to come up with their own cyber law, notwithstanding the fact that they are in the same economic bloc. You want to develop your own data protection law, which says that data that belongs to Zambians must be localized in Zambia, and yet we are talking about emerging technologies like cloud computing, global shared service centers. So how is that possible when you are actually insisting that you want to have your data reside in Zambia or in Malawi? So that is a challenge to the government, is a challenge to the regulators. The second one is, I talked about this early in the morning, insufficient or lack of proper alignment between academic institutions and industry. Is the training at our tertiary institutions responding to a critical need in the market? And if so, how are you actually ensuring there is proper alignment? One of the things that can be done is, I attended programs outside Africa where you find that there are full-time professors at universities. They deliver their lectures, but they interface this with guest speakers from the industry. So for every maybe so many lectures, you need to invite industry captains to come and talk to the students, so that the students are able to actually see how the principles they are being taught in class apply in real life. Because the purpose of education is to contribute both to industry and knowledge. by either way of generating new knowledge, extending existing knowledge, or making the practice respond better to the needs of society. Another thing that I think I would want to say is, especially now from a government perspective, is establishment of national cybersecurity centers of research excellence. Countries like the UK have actually perfected this. If you are looking for postgraduate studies in the UK in cybersecurity, a lot of universities offer those programs, but there are just a handful of them, like about 13 or 14, whose programs have been accredited by the National Cybersecurity Center of the UK. So in addition to getting an MSc certificate in cybersecurity, you also get a certificate from the National Cybersecurity Center if you have followed a certain pathway. And that ensures that there is relevance in terms of what the universities are training. Government is pumping in money into academic institutions to develop cybersecurity capacity, unlike our African universities, where when one university starts offering actuarial science, every other university wants to do the same, regardless of the size of the demand for that skill. When one university starts offering a course in computer science or maybe in cybersecurity, you lose your specialism. Like, for example, we should be having universities positioned as technical universities. When you hear of the University College London, it's actually not a college. That is a very prestigious university, but it's known for certain disciplines. And so maybe for those of you that are aspiring to grow your careers in this field, one of the things that you might want to look at is when you are looking for opportunities to study and further your education, overall university reputation is very important, absolutely. But more critically, in my view, is the subject ranking for the particular university that you are looking at in terms of the discipline that you want to pursue. Of course, if I wanted to do medicine or law, I would want to go to Harvard. But between Harvard and MIT, if I wanted to do computer science or cybersecurity, I would probably go for MIT. So those are my few thoughts. Thanks.
Thank you so much for the comments. This marks the end of day one of our conference. Let's be reminded that dinner will be served from 6:30 at the main foyer where we had a lunch. Those of us that were invited, the schools, universities that were invited to attend this function, may you please stay behind. We want to sort out your logistics. And lastly, we have snacks at the back. When going out, please grab something. Tomorrow, our program is starting at 9. Let us keep time. Have a good evening. Let's plan to attend the dinner. It will be a chance to network, catch up, introduce yourself to somebody, talk to the speakers, comment, and say more on what you need to say. I see a hand. All right. All right, we shall have programs printed tomorrow. As you are walking in, you'll be able to see the agenda items. We'll also post on our website and share the same.